What up, movie lovers? Welcome to the first podcast for the Apocaflix Awards. I'm your host, Jacob Bartley, and you're here with the Apocaflix Movie News crew. Gio Ramos, what's up, man?
Doing good. I'm excited for our Apocaflix Awards. Got a lot of
This was actually your idea, man.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's finally coming to fruition.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we're also here with Jake Berlin. What's up, man?
Not much. Stoked to giving out some of the first Apocaflix awards, man.
Yeah, so this is our first time really doing like official awards, and it might change from year to year the way we go about doing it, but this is our first time doing it. So the way we kind of broke it down was we chose 3 categories that we were for sure going to do, and I think that was best film, best performance, and best director. And then each of us came up with 3 other categories. So some of these are like really random. You might think we should have a different category in instead of some of these, but these are the categories that we chose and we decided would be, the most fun and entertaining to talk about. So for this podcast, this is our overall MVP of Hollywood for 2015. So if you want to compare it to sports, in sports, pretty much every sport has an MVP award. So the most impactful person in Hollywood. It doesn't have to be just an actor. It can be a director. It can be a producer. It can be
A studio.
Is studio an option?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't consider studio as an option, but so pretty much, any individual or group or studio that had the most impact on Hollywood in our individual opinions. So for each of these categories, we each have our own choice. It's not just one choice for all 3 of us. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with you, Jake Berlin. You chose this category. So who is your overall MVP for Hollywood in 2015?
So this is actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
It's hard. This is the hardest category for me, honestly.
Yeah,
it really was.
It came down to 3 choices, and I went with the original choice that I thought I was going to go with in the beginning. My honorable mentions, though, I'm going to go with those first. Alicia Vikander. You guys know that I freaking love her.
Yeah.
I love her and her acting. She was in, she was in the movie The Seventh Son. Terrible film, but she actually was really good.
I didn't even think about Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
The Danish Girl.
She was in The Danish Girl. She was in The Man
Chef,
from U.N.C.L.E.
Burnt.
She was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. She was in Burnt, and she was also in a movie called Testament of Youth,
Jeez.
which I've been raving about for a while.
She might be in the
now.
most movies this year after Samuel L. Jackson.
She's unbelievable. Every one of those movies was enjoyable to fantastic, except for Seventh Son. All of her performances were incredible, though. So that's an honorable mention. Another one is an honorable mention is Sony, because they finally stepped up to the plate and made a deal with Marvel for freaking Spider-Man.
It's the best thing they could have done.
So that's an honorable mention. They did what they needed to do. They made a smart move with doing so. It's going to pay off big time. But my choice for overall MVP is J.J. Abrams.
Nice.
J.J. Abrams, man, he had so much pressure on him for this whole Star Wars stuff and all the poo that could have came out of it after it was released. He successfully gave us a Star Wars movie we've been waiting for 30 years. All the things he had to deal with, from the older actors, the new actors, writing the film, giving Star Wars fans what they wanted, giving an overall good film in general, and, just kicking off a Star Wars generation that we've been waiting for. He succeeded so well. I don't think there's any question, really. He deserves the award for me. He is the MVP. It blows me away that what he was able to accomplish, and because of all the pressure that he had from everyone. Like, everyone knows that Star Wars fans are the biggest fans in the world, and if you don't do it right, you're probably going to die. Like, they'll probably kill you. So for what he was able to do, he is definitely an MVP to me in 2015.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll find out why I laughed so hard in a second, but I'm just going to go. Honorable mentions. I have Alicia Vikander in there, too. You can't deny the impact she's had on 2015. She's doing it all.
There's a chance that she might be nominated for 2 different Oscar categories, and there's a possibility of her winning those categories.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Danish Girl yet, but I'm looking forward to it so much, especially I love Eddie Redmayne.
You might like
love
her
Alicia
more
Vikander.
in The Danish Girl than you did in the Next Machina.
I don't know about that.
I'm telling you that right
I honestly don't know about that, but we'll see.
telling you,
It's a
man.
possibility. She's definitely a worthy candidate, but and also Oscar Isaac. Honestly, I mean, Ex Machina again, and didn't The Most Violent Year, didn't it come out early in 2015, late 2014?
It came out in January, the first week of January.
Yeah,
I think.
he was. People were raving about
he was
that.
great in that movie.
So Most Violent Year, and then Star Wars. Every time I ask somebody, what did you like about Star Wars? A lot of them say Poe Dameron. Like, oh, that guy Poe, or that pilot guy. And, he's not, a lot of people say he's taking over the Han Solo role, but he's going to be his own, comedic relief type character, the guy with.
He's not the new Han Solo. He's Poe Dameron.
Yeah, but he's going to fill that hole.
Yes.
Of Han Solo. He's not a new Han Solo, but
Spoiler.
he's gonna fill that hole. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, Harrison Ford isn't gonna live forever. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. But funny enough, I have J.J. Abrams as my overall MVP in 2015. That's why I laughed so hard when you said J.J. Abrams, because he's also my choice. But I didn't know I didn't know studios were an option.
Gotta read the email, bro.
I don't think you said studios.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Check the message. Yeah.
Oh,
Just kidding.
well, if I would have known that, I would have chose Disney. Because
that's a good choice.
come on,
Yeah.
they're behind Inside Out, Star Wars, Ant-Man,
Marvel, yeah.
they're behind all these great things. Even I would throw The Good Dinosaur in there, which was a really good film. So I would choose Disney, but I give it to J.J. Abrams. So by default, both of us chose J.J. Abrams. He is our MVP overall. I mean, 2-1 if Gio didn't pick him. But like you said,
I don't think you picked him.
He had the most pressure on him more than anyone in Hollywood.
Probably in the history of film.
In the history of film, for damn sure. There's no question about it. And he kept everything under wraps. He stayed composed. The cast loved working with him. He made such a fun, amazing, great film. And he knocked it out of the park. I think he's going to have the biggest movie of all time.
He
box
was.
office-wise. I hope so.
He was like when he was announced as the director, we were like, "Oh, that's awesome." There was nobody else that could have handled this better than J.J.
And if we're
Abrams.
comparing it to sports, man, he was in the top of the ninth, in the bottom of the ninth in the World Series with 3 men on base, down by 3. He knocked it out of the park. Grand slam. He absolutely killed it. J.J. Abrams is my Hollywood MVP of 2015. So Gio Ramos, how about you?
All right. Well, I have just two selections. My runner-up and my overall MVP. My runner-up goes to Universal Pictures. $6 billion in 2015.
I didn't even think about that.
They shattered the record. I don't know who previously held it, but I was just reading on Variety. They shattered it. You think about the films that they released this year. They were smart enough to take on Steve Jobs when Sony couldn't do anything with it. They were like, okay, we'll take it. Here's Danny Boyle. Here's Michael Fassbender. Here's Aaron Sorkin's script. No problem. And that film turned out great. Furious 7. They could have easily taken over that marketing and put Paul Walker all over the marketing, to hype up that film. But no, they got out of the way. They let the guys who do the marketing, kill it. And what do you know? Furious 7 ends up grossing $1.5 billion for Universal.
Didn't they make 50 Shades of Grey too?
They made 50 Shades of Grey. That
Look at all the
movie
money
was
they
also
made.
a profit.
That's a positive
Yeah.
for them. I'm not saying it's a negative.
Jurassic World and Minions. Now, Jurassic World was 1.6.
it made 209 opening weekend.
The opening weekend record for that one. It was incredible.
Until a little movie called Star Wars.
Yeah, until Star Wars came out. And then Minions, what a year for Universal Pictures. $6 billion, incredible. But my overall MVP, I chose this guy because he's my MVP. Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell this year had such an incredible year. Let's talk, he had 3 films. His first film, Furious 7. What an impact Kurt Russell made in that movie. His character, Mr. Nobody, can easily spin off to 3 more Fast and Furious films. There's so much mystery behind his character. He was so cool in that movie. He was just laid back. He was having fun. And then his second movie, Bone Tomahawk. Jake, I know you saw this one. It was really, really
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
One of the best. It's a horror movie, just cannibalism and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's crazy.
And he plays the sheriff, like, again, cool, laid back, having fun. His charisma, excellent. And then The Hateful Eight. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, he got out like one of Kurt Russell's best performances probably ever, just as John the Hangman Ruth.
He was really good up until like a certain moment, and then Samuel L. Jackson took over. But for like the first like 3/4 of that movie, he was stealing the show.
Yeah, and if you don't understand what the word molasses means, you will know after watching that movie. Like, so Kurt Russell is my MVP. Every movie that he was in, phenomenal job. He might end up being Star-Lord's dad in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That would be a huge plus. But just Kurt Russell went back into our conscious. He's an actor that we all loved. He's been around for a long time. But this year, he really brought it. He came back, and I think he's here to stay for mainstream movies. So that's my MVP.
Going off of that, I love that, I'm sure it's been happening more recently, but just in 2015, I've noticed like a lot of older classic actors are coming back and jumping into mainstream roles and doing a lot of work, like Kurt Russell, Robert De Niro, Michael Douglas. I love that all these actors are involved in like franchises we love, and they're still doing the indie projects.
Well, yeah, like they stepped away for a while.
Yeah.
And then they're coming back and doing like these movies, but they're stepping into movies that we never thought that these kind of actors would have done 10 years ago.
I love that.
Like,
yeah, they're
Robert
not
De Niro
afraid
is
to.
doing a movie called Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah,
Kurt Russell is possibly doing Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Michael Douglas was an Ant-Man.
exactly.
You never would have thought that a decade ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Kurt Russell was in Furious 7.
Yeah,
That's
Furious
already a
7,
step
yeah.
forward. Like, I love that they're not, I'm only going to be in serious roles. Like, I love that they're not afraid to
Well, and also
jump into those roles.
It also goes with Kate Blanchett. She could possibly be in Thor 3.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's
dude,
it's
so,
going everywhere now.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, yeah, there were a bunch of people that deserved to be our MVP, a bunch of people and studios. Like I said, I mean, you can't go wrong with Disney. You can't go wrong with Universal. You can't go wrong with Sony for probably doing the smartest thing in 2015, which was teaming up with Marvel. So that does it for our overall Hollywood MVP. I had J.J. Abrams. Jake had J.J. Abrams. Gio had Kurt Russell. All worthy, all definitely legit contenders. And so, we could safe to say, 2-1, J.J. Abrams gets the crown. But, we could have easily all three had different answers.
Yes.
But it's just so funny to me that you chose J.J. Abrams.
How would you have, I mean...
I wasn't sure. I thought you were going to choose Alicia Vikander for sure.
Like, it was really close because of what she did this year, but
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
Star
she might be
Wars,
on.
man.
She might get an award on one of our other lists
Yes,
for
yes,
sure. I think
for
so.
sure.
All right. Well, you all let us know who is your Hollywood MVP. What did you think of ours? Let us know in the comment section. I'm your host Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at Governor Bartley and anywhere on social media at Jacob Bartley. Gio Ramos, where can they find you online, man?
You can find me on Twitter at GeoRamos24 and on ApocalypseMovies.com every day.
And Jake Berlin.
Twitter, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake. Make sure to check out our Facebook page at Apocaflix Movies.
And please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We would really appreciate it. And if you're subscribed or not, are you planning on it, hit that like button. We could use all your help. Thank you very much. And check out our next Apocaflix Awards category.